In this very brief review, I wanted to review two things. One is distinguishing deductive arguments from inductive arguments. In the circumstances we have before us in the assessments, every deductive argument is going to be an example of a valid deductive argument. And so that definition must apply. That is, if the premises are true, the conclusion must be true. So in order to assess whether an argument is deductive or inductive, you have to ask questions that address that connection between the premises and the conclusion. You have to ask yourself, if the premises were true, does this guarantee the truth of the conclusion? Notice that the question is not, are the premises in fact true? That is irrelevant to determining whether an argument is deductive or inductive. In the portion on causal reasoning, I want to quickly review how to identify types of causes, and I want to point out a couple things here. First of all, always make sure that you are looking for whether or not the situation is one of a sufficient cause or a necessary cause before you would go on to the other options. Only after you've ruled out those two possibilities would you go on to consider whether or not it's a proximate cause or an agent cause or a probabilistic cause. Another thing to keep in mind is to be sure that you're very clear about what is the effect and what is the cause. So, for example, if I say the car wouldn't start because the car was out of gas, the effect is the car not starting and there not being gas in the car. So it would be erroneous to think this way when given that example. It would be erroneous to think, well, what would cause the car to start? Well, if it had gas in the car, then that would cause it to start. And so then you go on to think, well, gas is a necessary condition for the car starting, assuming we're talking about gas-powered cars here. And so you consider it a necessary cause. Well, as I said, that would be erroneous reasoning. The problem with that is that you forgot the effect was the car not starting. And so you have to be very clear and keep in mind throughout your reasoning and trying to identify what type of cause it is, just exactly what the effect is and what the cause is. Now, there are also going to be questions on different types of inductive arguments, on controlled experiments, on causal fallacies, but I thought I'd give a quick review on those two things before you began the assessments for this unit.